most flexible data sharing systems, hidden behind the scenes somewhere, is some form of metadata. And this is usually the slide where somebody says, metadata is data about data. But what that really means is that metadata contains information that helps a user understand the contents of the data set, compare similar data sets together to decide which one is better for them, decide which data fits their needs. And although a lot of people are scared of metadata, we are surrounded by metadata all the time. So this thing over on the right is metadata for a turkey sandwich. Like a very unhealthy turkey sandwich, I might add. But most people in this room have looked at one of these boxes before. So typically you're looking at one of these boxes because you're comparing maybe one turkey sandwich to another turkey sandwich, and you're trying to decide which one you should buy. So metadata is everywhere, and maybe I have a bit of a sickness, but you start to see it everywhere if you just work too much in your day. It's kind of scary. So for the purposes of data sharing, metadata helps users discover your data, or helps them discover the best data for them that you may be sharing. Now, so then Todd wanted me to talk about types of metadata, and I think he thought I was going to originally talk about all the different kinds of metadata you might encounter in spatial metadata, GDC and all these terms. But first I just want to break out metadata into two kinds. There's the human readable metadata that we create all the time as part of our jobs. If you've ever worked on a project and created a project report or a grant deliverable, written a journal article, if you crack open Microsoft Word to write any of those things, publish a PDF with pretty pictures about your project, built a web page, those are all human readable metadata. So we're all very used to generating this kind of metadata. And then there's the kind of hidden metadata. Machine readable metadata that's generated by software, and it's intended to be read by other software, other machines. And so we see these all the time too in the real world. So the human readable metadata in the turkey sandwich context might be the packaging that says, ooh, turkey sandwich. But the barcode on the bottom would be the thing that allows you to go to the front, scan it, and pay your $5 or whatever. And the barcode tells the supermarket system all kinds of information about the turkey sandwich that you don't necessarily need to know about. So machine readable metadata is everywhere too. We usually don't have to deal with it in day-to-day life because it is software generated and kind of invisible. In the geospatial context, it's usually around us in the form of XML or JSON. And guess which of these makes it easier to search and compare against many projects when you have a giant system? It's very difficult to compare sort of, the colorful boxes in the cereal aisle of the supermarket, but it's much easier to compare, for the computers to compare information about those cereals via the barcodes. So that's the kind of thinking that sort of helps you understand why geospatial metadata, which in general is machine readable metadata, is useful to searching systems. So, oh God, geospatial metadata is the machine readable stuff. And I'm not a machine, what am I going to do? I mentioned the two formats that are most common in encoding geospatial metadata. By far the most common one is XML, but JSON is fast approaching. The main point of this slide is to show you that you could write metadata about t-shirts, for example, this is a shirt, it's a casual shirt, it's a cotton shirt, it's made out of, it's green, the font on it is green. Same information be coded in XML or could be encoded in JSON. And it really kind of looks similar. If you look at an XML file, there's more pointy brackets. If you look at a JSON file, there's more curly brackets. But that's really all that's going on here. The names of the formats are just encodings, and the content is what's inside the encodings. That's the stuff that is the payload, the really interesting stuff. And even though we call this stuff machine readable, this is still text. We can crack open a file and look if we really have to. I'm just throwing this out there because I don't want people to be scared of either XML or JSON down the road. Okay, so going back to geospatial metadata. Any metadata can be very brief or can be very verbose. And just like you can write an abstract or executive summary at the front of a report, and you have like a 300-page report behind that summary. In the geospatial metadata world, over the years, there have evolved many metadata content standards, and I really should have inserted the word content right here. All these are types of metadata content standards, and not necessarily all created for geospatial metadata. So I'll walk you through each one of these and what they contain in general. And I've already mentioned that most geospatial metadata you will encounter will be encoded as XML. So any one of these contents could be encoded as XML. So here's the first blue box in this presentation. We had Christine White from Esri give a presentation to our Oregon network a year and a half ago. And we recorded her session, so it's online. Her slides are online here, and her actual, it's not really a video, it's her slides with her voiceover. We recorded it as she was presenting, are on Vimeo here. So if you want to just page through the slides, you click on the first link. If you want to actually watch her presentation, click on the second link. And she does a really great job of giving an overview of the different kinds of metadata, explaining the differences that a little bit of what I'm talking about here, and she goes into more detail, especially as it relates to Esri tools.